Gracious and loving God, we give you thanks for being here with us today. God, you are Emmanuel, God who is with us. God, we ask that you open up our ears and our eyes, our hearts and our minds to what you would have to say today. And once again, dear Lord, I invite you to speak through me and in spite of me, that my words are holding your message to us today. God, we love you and we thank you. We pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. So we've been in a series this past few weeks about what gift we should bring. What gift should we bring to Jesus? And if you're going to bring anyone a gift, you know this, right? I know this too. You need to know what they like, what they'd want. And so I began with the question, what would God want from us? What gifts could we bring? There are times when you're with a family member or a friend and you're asking this question and they drop these hints, you know? They let you know one way or the other what gift to bring. And so when I think of the gift to bring God pretty much lets us know what he would want from us, what God would want from us. And the first gift several weeks ago, if you remember, is to come as you are, to just bring yourself. You know, I think of any loving parent when the kids are on their way for Christmas. What should we bring? Mom, Dad, what should we bring? And the answer is always, the chips. No, not the chips. No, just bring yourself. Just come as you are. Just come. That's the main gift. Bring yourself. Who you really are. Bring that. Come as you are. And then the second gift is what special gifts and talents do you have to bring? We studied the song "The Little Drummer Boy" and how he brought his gift, as strange as it was, of playing the drums for Jesus. And that gift, however small, is multiplied. Just like our treasure we talked about last week, our treasure is multiplied in God's hands. And this week we're talking about bringing our faith, our little faith. We sing about this as kids, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. And we sing about it, Jesus gave it to me, I'm going to let it shine. This little faith the size of a mustard seed. Jesus talks about the mustard seed. I love this analogy. He talks about this a whole lot. I used to whenever I'd preach this, I would bring mustard seeds, but that was frowned upon. I think I hit somebody in the eye. I'd just throw them out at people. They're tiny. And have a mustard seed. Remember the mustard seed. So many stories of the mustard seed and how it's connected to our faith, but really it's Jesus tells a story about it being something that it's tiny, but it grows. And it grows like a weed in the sun, so it grows and multiplies in ways that it is so pervasive and so prevalent that even the birds will nest in the mustard seed plants. He talks about this all the time. When the disciples came to Jesus and said, God, we have faith, but we need our faith to be increased. Jesus said this. When they said, increase our faith, the Lord said, if you had faith like a mustard seed, you would say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and be planted in the seed, and it would obey you. He says the same thing in Matthew's gospel, but he talks about a mountain being moved. A mountain would move from one place to the other. And it's the faith that you have, the little faith that we have in a big God. It's all about what God can do and our faith in what God can do. What a gift that is to bring. And Jesus is always seems to be trying to ask for more of this from folks. You know how many times that Jesus says this right here. He replied, you of little faith, why are you so afraid? Then he got up and he rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. He says this so many times, and I can hear Jesus saying this to me as well. And I wonder how you picture Jesus saying this. There's a couple of ways to do it. Is he disappointed? Is he like, ye of little faith? Shaking his head, He's upset? I don't think so. Because of what he says about little faith. If you have a little faith, you can do powerful things in God. But he's calling this out of us. This is dropping the hint. This is what I want from you, church. This is what I want from you individually. I want you to have a little faith. Ye of little faith. I picture him smiling. He's kind of bringing this out of them. Ye of little faith. He doesn't say ye of no faith. He says ye of little faith. And it probably made them a bit uncomfortable too, because he talks about great faith, but when he talks about great faith, it's not the inner circle of disciples. He talks about great faith with a Syrophoenician woman who is desperate for her daughter to be healed. And he talks about her great faith. And he talks about great faith in the centurion who wants his child to be healed as well. Great faith in the outside group to encourage great faith within. Oh, ye of little faith. I can imagine, I say this to my daughter. I have a daughter who I really didn't have to say this to. She's my jumper. Do you know what this is like? Do you have a jumper? This is Lila. And my son Jonah took this picture. It only took us like 50 tries to get this picture. And ever since Lila was a tiny child, as far back as she could walk, she would climb things. And when she would climb things, she would leap from them. She would climb a tree. I mean, like it would be scary because she's tiny and she's up in this giant tree without any fear that I would, be there to catch her. I'm always there to catch her. And so I'd say, jump to me, honey, jump to me, and bam, there she is, jumping. And I thought, what a wonderful picture of faith this is. Some people kind of confuse faith for believing, but I think this really illustrates how faith is more than belief. She could stay up in the tree believing in me, believing that I could catch her. But faith is more than that. She not only has to believe and trust that I'll catch her, but she has to actually be moved to do something. It implies action. And what happens is when she jumps, I would catch her. I would catch her if it meant that I broke my legs. I would catch her. I would, if my phone rings, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna catch her. She can trust that I catch her, and so she jumps. And you know what happens when she jumps? She says, again, Daddy, again. And she climbs up the tree again, does it again. And then my other kids have done the same thing. They've caught on. They know that, oh, well, if Lila has that faith, I'm kind of scared, but she's going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then they're all jumping. And after a while, I'm like, okay, guys, that's really getting tiresome on my arms. I got 3 kids jumping. And they're taking turns and jumping and jumping and jumping. And it's this faith. But I love that as an image for us because we're called to trust, to put our trust in God and to be moved to action. And we're joined. When I see Lila do this, I see that she has this confidence. She has complete confidence. She has an assurance that I'll catch her. And part of it comes from trusting me, knowing me, having some experience in it. And part of it comes from me, come on, you can do it. You can jump. Part of it comes from my giving her assurance. So it's a two-way sort of thing, and that's the way it is with God as well. You can do this, ye of little faith. Why did you doubt? Trust me. Trust me, we're in this together. We can do this. I love the definition in Hebrews. It's one of my favorite chapters of the Bible because of its talking about faith. And the writer of Hebrews, we don't know who the writer of Hebrews is, by the way. Some folks say she's brilliant. We don't know who she was. Anyway, we don't know. But I love this definition. Faith is the confidence in what we hope for and the assurance about what we do not see. Faith is the confidence in what we hope for and the assurance about what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for. And then if you read Hebrews 11, if you ever feel like your faith is just needing to be increased, then we read about all that have gone before. And the writer of Hebrews does this incredible job of going through this long list of faithful. And the writer says, by faith, Abel brought the gift. Enoch walked with the Lord. Noah spent all this time building an ark. Crazy things that folks did over time. God's people. Abraham wandering out into the desert. The blessing of the stars. On and on and on. In your life, you have met folks that have been part of this great cloud of witnesses. I love this. The great cloud of witnesses. I think about all the folks that have gone before, all the folks that have taken the time to share with you this faith, to increase your faith. Who was it where you say, for me, I remember being a little kid and saying, God, I want faith like my grandfather, because if he believes that stuff, I want to believe like he believes. Part of the great cloud of witnesses, all the ones that we light candles for on All Saints Sunday, they're there, but we also know that they're also here with us in this room. I came to this wonderful passage, and sometimes you get these greetings in Paul's letters, and you kind of skim over them because he's greeting a church in a certain place. But when I got to this in Thessalonians this week, I stopped, and because it was exactly what I was feeling as I was thanking God for this gift. And it's this. All the people in the cloud of witnesses, all those that have gone before and all those that are here with us in this room, well, we ought to thank God for you, brothers and sisters, and rightly so. And I love this. Because your faith is growing more and more, and the love all of you have for one another is increasing. It's connected. Your faith is growing more and more, and you're more and more connected in love. I am a person of faith because of other people of faith. We have a way of increasing one another's faith, don't we? And we see it in each other, and it's inspiring. I came from a place in San Saba, Texas, this tiny little town, and there were faithful folks there too. But I didn't get to meet as many as when I'm in a larger place. But it doesn't matter, even if it's small. You meet people and they're praying for one another and they're trusting and believing. Then you look around and all of a sudden your faith is stronger because of their faith. This past Monday, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday, I went to the hospital to visit my friend Vicky. Vicky was in the hospital just for a few days. She's feeling much better now. And Vicky and Phil, I don't know if you know this, but they work with special needs folks. They are part of the special needs ministry. They love it. And they had just come from a party where the first thing Vicky did was show me pictures. Hey, here's all these pictures of the party, and we're looking at pictures, and it's this exciting and happy time in the hospital, because it is. When you're around Phil and Vicky, it's always special. But they had a friend with them, a guy named Brother Bob. I was hoping Brother Bob would be here today, but he's not. But Brother Bob was there. And Vicky looked at me, and she looked over at Bob, and she said, he's teaching us about faith. Well, I'm working on a sermon on faith, so my ears kind of perk up. I said, tell me more. And they said, Bob has this faith that, he writes down everybody on the prayer list. If they're finished if they've got better, he knows they're better. And he prays. Vicky said, I can't do anything but get better. I'm going to be out of the hospital really soon because Bob's here praying for me. I'm covered. We circled up, and I said a few words as you do when you're the pastor and you go visit folks in the hospital. But as I was praying, I kept thinking, God, you already know all that needs to be prayed for right now because Brother Bob beat me to it. It was beautiful, and I left that hospital. I left that hospital feeling like $1 million, feeling like man, I want the faith like Bob. Lord, increase my faith. And I feel like God keeps showing me these people in these places that help me to see this. And I pray that maybe one day I can be that person for someone else, a light in the darkness for them, and their faith might be increased to the size of a mustard seed that can move mountains. What a gift this is. What a gift this is. I have a picture that came up, and I wanted to show you this. There are people that I am inspired by on a daily basis. My favorite part of being here at this church is the people that I get to work with. And here they are. Here's some of them. Some of the folks, they were touring the ministry center and the development at the ministry center. And as I saw this picture, I thought these are folks that inspire me and increase my faith. And especially when there's been times when I'm joyful, I can come and share this joy and say, God is doing these awesome things, and we're so joyful. And there have been times when I've gone through some really tough situations in the past few years, and I'll call Pastor Lupina, and she's done the same with me. We call one another and say, sister, I need prayers. I remember when my friend was really horribly burned, and I had to go pray with him, and I called Pastor Lupina, and it was like in talking to her, I began to notice that my faith was stronger because of her faith. It takes one another in this. We're all connected in this. And then something incredible happened. A couple of years ago, we saw this need, as a community, how we could make a difference in this area, and how 3 miles south of this location is a place that buses go by. And if we bought this place as a church in faith, that we could do ministry in the area just south of us. And so the ministry center idea kind of came up, and we did this leap of faith as a church. And it's crazy because it doesn't make sense. And it's this project where we're not getting any more money from the church because of it. We're giving this money out, and we're giving this time and effort out in this community, and watching people together be encouraged. I remember one thing that Carlton said. Carlton Hendricks, he's working on the building and the renovation and some of the plans, and I remember what he said. He said, this is crazy, and I would not be in favor of doing this at all. It doesn't make sense. But then he was like, but I know these people. I know that they're missionaries, and they've got talents, and whatever is here can be expanded over there. If there's worship, that we can worship over there. There's a chance to feed folks, then we'll do that. If there's a chance to whatever it is, he goes, it's because of the faith of these folks. It's because of the faith of the congregation that we're able to take this leap and to do something incredible for God, to do something wonderful for the world. What a gift that is. We had some really great news this past week, and it had to do with the ministry center, and it had to do with the conference, the larger body of the United Methodist Church supporting this ministry. And I wanted to bring Abden up. This is one of my heroes in faith, one of the cloud of witnesses. Pastor Abden has been in this church for so long, and I've known him ever since I got here. But pretty much every week I get to hear a story of what God is doing in the community, in the area, and my faith is increased because of yours, because of your love and your ministry. So.
Well, I have to tell you that every step of the way with the ministry center has always been a step of faith. A step of faith for this congregation to buy that building and then to refurbish it. A step of faith every time we walk out and visit the community and set up different events that honor and glorify God first, each and every time. An event that happened this Wednesday at the LC Rutledge Apartments in San Antonio Housing Authority. It's a Christmas event. And they put out a flyer that said, Christmas party, not holiday party. And we proclaimed Jesus Christ at that event. There was not a Santa and there was no reindeer or anything like that. We proclaimed Jesus Christ to the community.